For all that it's worth, living in the spotlight, all of my dreams come to life. Welcome to another episode of Sellouts, the podcast for MGK fans by MGK fans. I am your host, Mike Kyle, and today I am joined by another super special guest. You've probably seen her on Instagram, also known as MGK Israel. We got Nikki in the house. Woo! Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, we're so excited to have you. This has been an episode long in the making, and we're finally able to knock this out. We had Jason on last week. His episode kicked ass, and I'm going to assume that this one is going to as well.
No pressure, right?
No pressure. Not at all. All right. So, Nikki, let's start this off. Where
Sure.
are you from? Who are you? How did you discover MGK?
Okay. So most people know me as Nikki, but my Hebrew name is Nitzan Moore. Basically, I go by Nikki because it's my middle name, and also it's because most Americans don't know how to pronounce Nitzan. So it's easier. But yeah, I'm from Israel, obviously. And I live in a place that nobody knows because it's not Tel Aviv. But it's called Hulon, which is like a suburb of Tel Aviv. And I am an entertainment writer and been a long time music community manager. So that's like a really easy step for me to go into it. And I think with MGK, I'm a wrestling fan. So for me, I saw him the first time on WWE, and I was really impressed by him. I was like, who is this dude? What's going on? And then he had this whole thing where he did Invincible for WrestleMania, and I love that song. And I was like, okay, I need to check him out. I didn't really deep dive into his all catalog just yet, but I've been following him through the years. But you can say I became like a real MGK fan around 2017, where he got attached with Linkin Park for their North American tour. And then we lost Chester, and he did this project. He did Lift Off with Mike Shinoda, which is probably one of my favorite songs ever. Never got to see him live because they never did it live, even though I saw Mike during that tour like 4 times. But yeah, it's just, that's how it got all connected.
So if it was MGK in Invincible WWE, that would have been what, like 2012, give or take?
I think 13 or 12, yeah, something like that.
Right around there. And you said that before you were kind of into like music community management. I want to go into that just a little bit because I know that you were actually a very like prominent voice within Linkin Park Israel, and you had a whole Facebook community that was massive built around Linkin Park. So can you go ahead and kind of share that experience, because that was like the precursor basically to MGK Israel?
That's very true. I started like I was a fan from like day one with Linkin Park, and I am pretty much the same age as they are. So it was pretty much like I was in the army when they released their first album. And I've been with them for over 20 years. And when I say with them, I mean, I've been a very, very dedicated fan. I joined the Linkin Park Israel community that at the time was just like a website with a lot of like chat rooms and all that. And because I was the oldest there, because somehow I'm always the oldest somewhere, they really kind of adopted me as their like leader. I joined other people. Obviously, it wasn't something I started, but I was definitely one of the leaders of the community, and it was a lot of years of hard work and dedication, and I got to help bring them to Israel in 2010, which was amazing and life-changing, and been the best thing ever, really.
Yeah, that's so cool. So now what time frame was that? What years? Do you remember?
Yeah. Well, I started with them in like 2001. I started before because I actually got to talking to Mike on IRC gazillion years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time he was like, "Oh, listen, guys, I have this band. I want you to hear the demo and all that," and I really loved it. Mm-hmm. So for me, Hybrid Theory is a life changer. It's seriously like the most insane album ever, and I've basically been part and leading the community, again, not by myself, but during that for I think up until I started MGK Israel, basically.
Right. So if we start with Linkin Park, like super early 2000s, and now here we are running MGK Israel in the year 2022, entering 2023. I mean, I know MGK Israel goes back a little bit before that.
Yeah.
What was your, like, how did you take your experiences of kind of like managing a community for Linkin Park 20 years ago? And what have you like been applying to? What did you not like about the Linkin Park side of things that you then dropped for MGK Israel? Like, what were some of like the parallels or the differences between the two?
I think, well, obviously it was a completely different time. Social media was definitely not a thing. We had like the website, and we had MySpace, obviously. And when Facebook started, we immediately opened an account and a page that at some point got to tens of thousands of people. I think we had at the top something like 100,000 followers. And that was the thing that helped us bring them eventually, because the numbers basically spoke. So, you know, it wasn't that easy. It was very difficult to get the word out, for sure. Now with, you know, with Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and all those things, it's more approachable. And to be honest, I didn't actually plan on opening that fan page. That was not something I was like, yeah, I love him and I'm a really big fan. But it was MGK Italia who actually kind of convinced me and pushed me into doing MGK Israel. And I opened the page on July 7, 2020, when that was the exact date that he was supposed to come to Israel for a show that got canceled and delayed, and all that because of COVID and, you know, various management reasons. But that was just like the day that I started, I actually had no idea what I was doing. I was pretty much like kind of figure out as I went, kind of type of thing, because I just really wanted him to know that he has a solid fan base in Israel.
Yeah.
So that was like my main thing, the most thing I wanted to do, because I wanted to make sure that after COVID, he will come to Israel. That is like my main purpose. The whole purpose of the page basically is to get people to be aware of the fan community, but also to be aware that even halfway across the world, we still have like, there's fans and there's a voice. And that was basically kind of what drove me. And I think at some point it kind of blew up. But I'm still like, I don't consider myself as like a big page, because it's not that like there's other many bigger pages than mine. But in terms of like community, I think a lot of people kind of drawn to that being a representative of a country for some reason.
Yeah, and I think that the way that you run MGK Israel and like your level of activity on it, I think that is one of the reasons why you are like such like an authority within the community. Like you just like you're everywhere, you're always on top of everything. And I know I've even spoken to some like future podcast guests, and your name just keeps coming up. And that's why like, even I was excited to have you on and being able to be connected to you and meet you and you kind of, have some interaction because like sure, like your page has I think 6,500 followers, little over 6,000 I think it is. Um
Uh,
I could be wrong. Let me double check.
I think we're at 5.5 now. I would.
I gotta pull up.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah, you're at 5'6".
Yeah,
You're at 5'6", which is really like that is so cool. Like right, I think like specifically right, Israel is a country in the Middle East. Like
yes,
your whole mission is to try and like build awareness that hey, you have a fan base here. Like come perform in Israel, right? And
yeah,
so if that's why the page was started,
yeah.
like it's just one little drop in the bucket every single day and trying to make that dream a reality.
That is very true because I know that there are pages we're able to get to like milestones easier than me, faster than me. The page is almost like it has, I think, almost 3 years on it.
Yeah.
And it took me that much time to actually get to that number. Like everything is like slowly adding, but I see the engagement, which the engagement is like it's insane because it doesn't add up because there's like I get to crazy numbers in an engagement, but there's not that many followers. And I think one of the reasons is because it is an MGK Israel page.
Yeah.
Because I live in a very complicated country, and it's not always easy to get people behind the page.
Right, for sure. And I think one thing too that all EST or all MGK fan pages actually have in common, I've been seeing this more and more as kind of Pink Bucks has been blowing up a little bit over the past 2 weeks, is that right, all the fan pages like follow each other in a very cool way. Right. You brought up MGK Italia, who I know that you've spoken to actually about coming on this podcast.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Like we have Colson content who I've been talking to recently. Like EST Cult just followed me yesterday, and it's like you just kind of like look at who's following who, and everybody follows each other, and it really is just like this very wholesome community where like country like where you're from doesn't necessarily matter in a very cool way because we bring ourselves together around this one human in MGK, and that's pretty special.
Yeah, it is like we all the pages are very much supportive of each other. I think it only if there are specific pages that not necessarily go with the EST way in some ways, then we're not automatically like supportive. But if somebody opens a page, hit me up with a message, or can you please follow me? Not only I will obviously follow them, but I will also put in like a story saying, everybody, there's a new page, go follow them.
Right.
And we all do it for each other. We all support the pages. I think in a way there is maybe sometimes a little bit of rivalry, but like it's not really because we're basically a family. We are very much supportive of each other. And when we see also, different pages being shared by the band and things like that, then it's amazing. We're really happy for pretty much everyone.
Yeah. And that's actually what I wanted to just kind of segue into, right? You've grown this page, and through that, you've been recognized by the group, right? You are probably one of the pages that gets promoted from Slim, Justin, Rook, right? They reshare a lot of your stuff. So let's just kind of talk about that. Do you remember the first time that one of them reposted you?
I don't really remember the first time. I do remember that it was Rook. Rook is like has been so supportive of the page. Justin also. Justin, pretty much everything I post, he shares, and I am so grateful for that. And yeah, we got, we got some from MGK, and we got some from, Bays and Slim. So and obviously Sophie has been so amazing to the page and me, and I adore her. So for that, it was like, I don't really remember the first time that happened, but I do remember the first that actually counts.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm assuming you've watched Life in Pink more than once, I'm guessing.
More than once.
Yeah. So there is this part in the documentary where they're flying to South America, and there is this like interaction with fans there. And then they put up like a bunch of screenshots of like fans with Coulson. And the majority of those screenshots are from my page.
Mm-hmm.
So I was seriously blown away. I did not expect it. Lots of people asked me, like, did they contact you and ask you? And I was like, they don't need to ask me. They can take the whole page if they want. So I was shocked because I really didn't expect it. I was just lying in bed and, watching the film the moment it came out. And like, it was also pretty much like in the middle towards the end of the film. So nothing, I really not expected anything. And then it just popped up and I kind of froze. Mm-hmm. And then I started screaming in a very embarrassing way. And started like rewinding because maybe I kind of missed it or I saw something else. And then it was crazy. I can't thank Sam enough for putting my page there, because it's just me and one other page mentioned in the whole documentary. So it was a huge honor.
Yeah. And that's such a cool moment, like, to have, in the sense of, right, you've been at this point building this page now for 3 years, and to get that level of recognition, right? It's one thing for Rook, Kells, Justin, Sophie to repost you on Instagram on their story. That's obviously a really cool moment. But to have a moment like that in the documentary that is etched in history forever because of the work that you did, that is so special.
Especially because it's also aired on Disney. Mm-hmm. And that also have insane reach. Mm-hmm. I did get a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
In those weeks when the movie came out, lots of people send me messages and like, oh my God, I saw your page. I freaked out. Because everybody, that's the thing I was really most like appreciative of, is that people kind of feel connected. They're feeling like they're part of the community. They are, in a way, even though they're not necessarily from Israel, they feel connected to the MGK Israel community. So many people like, oh my God, I was so happy for you. I got so excited. Oh my God, this is a page that I love. And they show it. And it was amazing. It was so validating. It was, oh my God, they know I exist. I know they know I exist, but like, not really, Yeah.
And it's next level is what it is.
It is.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I want to take this now. We're going to take this and go a step further, right? You went to your first MGK concert.
Yeah.
This year. Well, first off, ever your first MGK concert ever. First concert this year.
Yes,
right?
Ever.
Amsterdam, last show on the European tour. Go ahead and just tell the story, because this one's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. Well, originally, there was the first time I was supposed to see him was in 2019 at the Hotel Diablo tour in Europe. I had tickets for the Berlin show, and on the day that I was supposed to fly, I got very, very sick, and I couldn't go. And I was so sad, because I was just kind of really into it. Hotel Diablo is pretty much like my favorite album. So I really wanted to see it live, didn't get a chance to do it. So I had a lot of hopes up for Amsterdam. And when I looked at the dates, because I tried to figure out where I want to go, and whoever did the tour no disrespect. But the dates were like so weird because you had like one day Belgium, one day Switzerland, one day Germany, and then like going back to Belgium and then like again Germany, and it was just all over the place and it was very difficult to follow. I know that there were a lot of fans that went to several shows, but I think it's easier for them because they actually live in Europe. So for me, I knew I had to like choose the one, and I know that he has a history of having the most insane shows when it's usually the last one on tour, especially if you look at like what he did in Cleveland. It was crazy. I saw it online. Obviously, I wasn't there, but insane. So when I went there, the whole experience was amazing because I came up really early in the morning, waited in line where there was like 10 people there. I was with Jason, which is like the first time I've met him personally. We've been talking online for a while, but we actually got to really connect all of these hours, you know, when we're standing in line. And he truly became one of my closest friends. Like I love him to death. So it's like standing in line, waiting, getting to talk to other fans, you know, hearing their experiences. We got in and everything was cool at first. I was running, like I was running, but at some point they said like no running, so I had to stop running. But I was like, I am going straight for the rails. And in hindsight, it was like the best thing for me because you know, I got to see the openers, which are amazing and so good. And then you know, the show with Kells started, and you know, the first couple of songs, I was like on cloud nine. I can't believe I'm here. Oh my God. And he's so skinny in real life. Like I knew he was skinny, but that is like
He's very skinny.
level.
Yes.
That is crazy. So yeah, I was like freaking out, and I guess I don't, maybe the excitement, the exhaustion, all of it, you know, I had this, I don't know, you can say like blood pressure drop or something, and I felt really, really bad. I immediately, you know, asked for water from like the guards and everything, and they brought it to me, but I couldn't really stabilize myself. And I was like, I'm going to faint. I'm going to faint. And I am a fainter, unfortunately. Not like, oh my God, I see a person and then like I faint, you know, it's just that I have this like thing with blood pressure and all that. So I felt really, really bad. And to this point, I have to say that I am so grateful for EST because at that moment, I saw what EST is really about. Because I was feeling bad. I was starting like to kind of try to sit down, to kind of catch my breath. And I felt so bad. I was like praying to God, please, please don't take me out. They were trying to take me out. And I was like, there's no way in hell. You will need me to be actually unconscious for you to like be able to take me out because there's no way I'm going out. And fans all around me just stopped whatever they were doing. They didn't look at the stage. They weren't like singing or focusing on a show or anything. They were all trying to help me. Some people were like holding me up. Some people were giving me water. There was one amazing girl that is from the Netherlands. She gave me this like sugar pills that kind of helps bring it up. And that was the thing that actually saved me eventually. So I was able to kind of stabilize myself sort of after that, but I have missed a lot of songs. And the whole time, all of them were around me. And I was very grateful for that because it's not a given that people would just, you know, stop the show and do the things. And I really didn't want Kells to see me because I know that would be all over the internet. So
yeah, for sure.
he would stop the show. It would be embarrassing. Like, I don't want it. Like, it was just, I got to do the rest of the show. Fortunately enough, I was able to see the rap songs, and I tried to muster up as much energy as I could because I was completely wiped out. At some point when he said, "Oh, this is our last song," I was just like, "Oh, thank God," because I was a mess. I was so tired, and I didn't feel good, and it was just crazy. But during that time that I didn't feel well, Olivia Stone, who used to be Kells' assistant, now she works with Megan. Um, she knew me from, we've been talking for a couple of years, and she kind of recognized me, and she was really there for me. She kept on like worrying about me and didn't look at the stage. We're like always trying to take care of me and all that. And she was really worried. And I told her, "Olivia, please don't let them take me out. Like, I'm begging you." And she said, "I won't, I promise." And every time they did try to take me out, she was like, "She's not going out. Like, take care of her, but she's not going out."
Yeah.
So that was insane on his own. Not the first show I thought I will get, but it was pretty much amazing because at the beginning, at least, I was still good. I was holding my flag proud. Got some waves, from band members. When they saw the flag, they were like, "Oh my God, you're here!" And they were just like, "Hi." I have some really funny photos of that, and Sam came by and said hi, and Joe came by and said hi, and Sophie's boyfriend, Chris, who is the nicest person on the planet, came to me and hugged me, and he said, "Listen, just wait here until the end of the show. I'm going to try to bring Sophie here to say hi to you." So it was just like, and everybody around me, like, "How does she know everybody? What's going on? Who is she?" So that was kind of insane, yeah.
And through all of that, well, let's get to the good stuff here. Through all of that, you were able to go backstage after the show and meet everybody.
Yeah.
And not only were you able to meet everybody, but like you were just kind of explaining, they all knew who you were, and they were so excited to have you backstage, kind of like with them and like having those interactions. So can you just kind of share like what, I know you can't go into detail for all of it, but if you can just share some of it, that'd be awesome.
That was truly the craziest night of my life because nothing went as I planned. Obviously, I wasn't planning on missing out on the majority of my very first show, and I was really upset about it. I know I've seen the show like 100 times online, but it's not the same. And kind of, I was finally here to see them and cheer for them. And when I was invited backstage, I was shocked. I did not expect that. That was really crazy. And every single person there was like truly the nicest. They were all, I don't even have words because like you think you know these people, but you can never know for sure. But they were amazing and so nice and treated me like I was one of their own, which was crazy on its own. And it was just, I really, it's hard to find words because like the whole time I felt like I was living this kind of dream because I didn't expect that. I was shocked. And, when I got to talk to Kells, it was, it was so nice. And I was very thankful for that because, he has his moods. Mm-hmm. So you never know how you're going to get.
And Nikki, it's my worst fear, meet him on an off day.
Rightfully so. We all heard the stories. Mm-hmm. And he's a person, so obviously he's allowed to have an off day. Right. But I was very, very much thankful for getting him on a good day, and he was so amazing. Kept thanking me for like doing the page and like working and promoting them. Mm-hmm. and he said that he wants to come to Israel. That is something that's already been discussed, and they're really pushing for it, which is basically the thing I wanted to hear the most. And he just like he asked me like a lot of questions. I was like mumbling, like barely finding words. He probably thinks that I'm kind of stupid, but it was just so hard, to get sentences together. But it was so nice, and Megan was there, and I got a chance to talk to her too. And I'm a fan of hers long before I even know Kells existed. So that was also kind of crazy. And we talked about like Jewish holidays and like the Dead Sea, which are things you would not expect.
Right.
That was just really crazy, and very much validating, because that's pretty much the thing I wanted to hear the most.
Yeah.
That there are gonna come to Israel, because obviously that's the whole reason why I'm there, and like holding my flag, even though people hates me for it. I got a lot of hate. Pretty much every day I get really a lot of hate comments and hate, DMs and stuff like that. And it can be very discouraging at times. And at some point, there were points that I was thinking maybe I should just like give up, because it's too hard. But then standing there with them, and every single person there telling me that they know my page, that they know me, that they love the page, that they follow things, for every single person like holding the Israeli flag to sign it.
Yeah, which is behind you right now.
Yes, it's behind me with all the signatures of everyone, which is beyond crazy. So I was just so thankful for that experience.
Yeah. So can you run through the list of who you met?
I can some of it. I can do some of it. So obviously Kells and Megan, Sophie and her boyfriend Chris were like seriously the nicest people, and they really made me feel like I was their close friend, and they were just happy to see me backstage, which was like bananas. I met Justin, which I love him, and he was actually kind enough to ask me about my dad and how he's feeling, because I told him like my dad got a heart attack a couple months ago, and things have been very, very rough. And at some point I was just like very lost, and I just sent him a message. I don't even know why him specifically, but I just sent him a message, and he said amazing things. And he said like, I'm gonna do a solo for you and your dad tonight at the show. And the fact that he actually remembered and like asked me how was he was crazy. I also got to meet Baze, who gave me like the biggest bear hug. And my friend kind of dropped the ball on this one, because while I was talking to Baze and he was like signing the flag, I don't know, she kind of froze or something, and she didn't take a picture. And I was like,
yeah,
I wanted to kill her.
That's the best.
I wanted to kill her because like I really wanted a picture with Baze.
Yeah.
And that was also one of the things where I really kind of appreciated it. I know, like at least Colson, I can't speak for the rest of them. I know he hates, taking pictures and having like phones, in his face. So I didn't even ask for it. I didn't ask for pretty much anyone. And they asked me if I wanted a picture. So I was like, yes, I would love it. Like, obviously, I didn't want to be an inconvenience, but, I was just like, yeah, I want a picture. You want a picture. So kind of having not having Bae's picture kind of sucked, but I have it in my hands.
Yeah.
And also, I met Rook.
Yes, there we go. Let's talk about it. That's what I was waiting for you to get to. So,
well, the last one I did meet, so you saved the best for last.
You love Rook. In fact, your pinned picture on Instagram is Rook signing the flag. So
Yeah.
why do you love Rook so much?
Well, first of all, he was the first to acknowledge, MGK Israel, and he's so cute. So cute. And he's amazingly talented, and I love seeing him, like all of his videos. He always laughs, and he's always, into everything. And also, when he had that horrible accident, and I thought we will never see him again. And then the how he kind of rehabbed and got back to himself was pretty much a miracle. So, and I was following that the whole time, and also made a video for him. I kind of collected people from all over, like Israel, and some people from worldwide, to kind of wish him well. That his father then later apparently showed to him, which was amazing. But yeah, I love him because he's so nice. And I was very intimidated because obviously, you get intimidated, but pretty much like, obviously I couldn't even speak normally when I was talking to Colton. But, I had this like birthday present for Rook because he had a birthday the exact same day that I was there. And I was like, I have to bring him something. And I knew that there was like very little chance that I would actually get to meet the band for obvious reasons, because I'm just one fan in the crowd.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure I'm going to meet Rook because I love it. So there's something not a lot of people know, but I'm sharing the love. And it's if you go to a show and there's a drumstick or a drum head signed in the merch booth, you actually get to meet Rook after the show. So I was like, this is my chance. I can like meet him, take a picture with him, give him his gift. It's gonna be awesome. But I was like, there's no way I could get to the merch stand and still have rails. So I was like with this like, dilemma, Sophie's choice in a way. Like, what am I supposed to do? So I knew I'm gonna go for the rails. So I asked a friend of mine who went to the show in Belgium to get me a drumstick and not meet him. So I can like use the drumstick later, because obviously he marks them down after that, so people won't just come with drumsticks, from other shows and I expect to meet him again. But she wasn't able to get me one, but she did meet him, so I'm kind of happy for her. And then another fan from Israel went to the Italy show, actually was able to get me the stick and brought it to Israel. And I took the stick with me to Amsterdam, and I had to put it in my pants because I knew there was like zero chance they would actually let me in with the stick. So it was just a whole thing when I was like, please don't feel the stick. I was like, oh, scary. But basically that stick was just like, tried to get it in Belgium, then got it in like Milan, and then it flew to Israel, and then from Israel I took it to Amsterdam, and eventually at the end I didn't actually use it.
Yeah.
Because I was graciously invited to meet them. So it was his birthday, and he was partying, he was like dancing and singing and all that. Didn't really want to bother him while he was just like enjoying his time. Yeah. So I waited patiently for him to kind of, be available. And that happened pretty much towards the end of the birthday party. But yeah, then I was just like, okay, it's now whenever I have to go in. Went in, met a friend of mine who is called Zazu, who is a photographer, and also a friend of the band. And I was so happy to see him because I didn't know he was there, because he was like so deep inside. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I need to ask you a favor. I'm really shy, really want to talk to Rook. I have a gift for him. Please help me. And he was like, got you, girl. I went to Rook and I was like, this is my good friend, Nicky from Israel. And he was like, oh my God, like you're MGK Israel. And, you know me? That was insane. And we started talking. I was in a rush, so I gave him the gift. He was fried completely, his words, not mine. But he still like loved it and thanked me so much. I got so many hugs. And it was just it is my biggest dream. Like I wanted to meet him more than I wanted to meet anyone else. And I told him, like, don't tell Colson, but you're my favorite. And he was like, yeah, I know, I've seen your page.
So just overall, right? Let's kind of put a bow on this, and then I have one more kind of U.S. versus European question I want to ask you. But like, how validating was that entire experience for you?
It was. I mean, how can you not feel unbelievably like validated and approved? It was just like they gave me the stamp that I was doing something good, because obviously they're not gonna take in every single fan page there is there, because there's like hundreds and more of them. But the fact that they gave me the opportunity, the fact that they were so shocked that I actually came to a show, which I understand, because, you know, obviously fans fly from all over the world for shows, but it is very challenging at times, because in Israel, especially like during COVID, there was like no option to kind of leave. We had no shows, everything got canceled. And even in Europe, everything got canceled, and didn't really get the chance, you know, to see that whole thing. And, you know, maybe with Americans, you guys have, you know, at minimum one show per year.
Yeah.
That's at minimum, because you always get so much, like your tours are crazy. And even outside of the tours, there's like other shows and other opportunities to kind of see the band. And, you know, so there's people like Jason, I've seen him like for 10 times, and, you know, all these things. And in Europe, even though there are very much dedicated fans that went to many shows within Europe, it's still different, because we don't have as many shows as you guys have. And I think in a way that makes people go harder. Like, I think you've seen the mosh pits, the crazy mosh pits. It's because, first of all, Europeans are very much into rock and metal more than anything. That's like a huge culture thing, and it is mainstream in Europe. So you probably, like, you will hear someone say, oh, my favorite band is like Rammstein, and not like, oh, my favorite, you know, artist is like Taylor Swift. That's very different. There's a different vibe. So people go hard because we don't have that many shows. We don't know when our next show is going to be. I have no idea when my next show is going to be. I'm going to try out for Cleveland at some point, because I really want to come.
That's actually where I'm at right now. That's why we're not in the typical Pink Bucks office. I'm actually home in Cleveland right now. I was at 27 Club yesterday, actually.
I saw the pictures. I'm like so jealous. There's a couple of friends that I have on social media that go there pretty often, and I'm just, I want to once, just one.
We'll get you here next year, okay?
I have to.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. So yeah, that's, I think, the whole reason is because nobody expected me to fly to Europe. Nobody expected me to be on the rails. Nobody expected me to kind of hold my flag loud and proud. I was a little bit scared, to be honest, but I was like, fuck this. Yeah. I have to show them that I'm here.
Yeah, and that last point, right, actually, like, so I'm going to go see Kells again in like 7 days, I think. I'm going to one of his shows in
You go to
Florida.
Florida, so?
I'm going to the one in Fort Lauderdale, and that just puts so much like perspective, like for me, like how fortunate I am to be able to see him several times a year. Whereas, like, like overseas and in Europe and Middle East where you're at, it's like you just don't know. It's this very I was gonna say like weird situation, but it's not that. It's just like this constant situation of hope, right? It's this infinite like fountain of hope. Like I want to be able to see him next year. Is he gonna come next year? Where can I see him? Where can I travel? Where can I go? And so being able to just like for myself personally take a step back and be appreciative of the fact that I have the ability to go see him, 5, 6, 7 times a year.
That I can't even imagine. Like I haven't seen anyone. And I mean, I've seen bands a couple times, obviously, but to the point where you can actually follow someone on tour.
Yeah.
That is like seriously one of my biggest dreams because I've never was able to do that and just, go and see different people. The same show, but in a way, every show is different.
Yeah.
And, having that opportunity come back, just like, Jason went to 10 shows and then he came to 2 shows in Europe.
Yeah.
And then, and then he was like, yeah, I'm going to the 2 shows in December. And, and he already has plans for like February, I think.
Yep.
And it's crazy, like, because I can't even imagine. I love the dedication. I think it's truly amazing. I wish I could do that, but for me, it's just like a whole operation because I need to wait until he announces something, and then I have specific times that I can like try to get a flight and a place to stay, and it's like it is very, very complicated. I've been talking to a fan from Australia. They don't get shows either, not those shows at least, and she actually flew, I think, to the Cleveland show, and it was amazing because I told her that I appreciate her so much because I know how it's like to have to actually go above and beyond for shows.
And travel. Yeah, that's really cool. And obviously EST, like we appreciate you guys going above and beyond wherever you're at in the world or wherever you're at, watching, whether you're tuning in to a Hulu live stream, whether you're somehow having a friend FaceTime you from the show. I've done that thing before. Or if you're just traveling, across country lines or state lines, whatever the case. And with that, let's wrap it up here, okay? What does MGK and EST mean to you as somebody who's like kind of like you're pretty close to the sun when it comes to this?
It means everything, to be honest. There are some days where it kind of feels like a job because I have to keep up with content and all that. But mostly it is family, because the band truly makes the fans feel a part of something bigger, and they're very approachable. Even Kells now with his level of he's so huge right now. He still kind of find ways to kind of still interact with fans, and I love that. So in a way, the people that I've met through EST are 100% my family. Like I have, I know a lot of people, but there are some that are just truly became my best friends. I'm talking to them like every single day. They're like very, very close. I'm not even celebrating Christmas, and I have this like huge Christmas list to send for like my friends, around the world. So it is a huge, huge family. And also Coulson specifically is like my lifeline because I am, like many people and many fans, battling, depression and anxiety and stuff that's not so fun to talk about. But his music, and me knowing that I have to at least post once a day something, kind of give me purpose. So it is everything. People always like, oh, now you got to meet them and you went to a show, and it's like, are you gonna go? You won't do as much.
Mhm.
And I was like, hell no, I have to like grab this momentum. I have to bring him to Israel.
Mhm.
I want my friends to fly to Israel for a change to see him here. That would be amazing.
Mhm. Hey, let's do this in the comment section of this video. Bring MGK to Israel. Okay, let's do that.
Yes,
Does that work?
let's do that. Yeah,
Okay, good. Right
that
now,
would
just
be amazing.
spam it in the comments. Whether you're watching this clip on TikTok, Instagram, or if you're watching this on YouTube, spam it in the comments. That's all we want.
Yes.
Bring MGK to Israel. And with
Bring
that,
us to this.
I
Yeah.
think that's a good spot to wrap it up. I think. What do you think?
Do you want to do the question thing?
You know my show better than I do. That's crazy. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this.
I actually really like that because you did with Jason. You had like a couple, questions, and I love that. It was like so fun.
All right, let's
And
do
yes,
this.
I do know your show. I've been following it.
It's so crazy. I think that is like one of like the really cool things, like the way this show has kind of grown so fast, is the messages that I get from people that I wouldn't like really expect to watch the show. They watch, and it's like, oh, that's really validating. So everybody that's watching, listening, thank you so much. Now let's wrap it up here with Nikki. We're gonna go 5 rapid fire questions. All right, I'm gonna name an MGK album, and you're gonna tell me your favorite song off the album. Does that sound good?
Sounds hard.
It is going to be hard. It is going to be hard. All right. Let's go with Hotel Diablo.
Well, Hotel Diablo specifically, that's one is easy for me because it's my favorite album, and Glass House.
All right.
Like, hands down, my favorite song.
All right. And then let's go over to Tickets to My Downfall.
Oh my God. How can you? No, you can't. It's just impossible. I don't know because it changes so much. I think maybe My Ex's Best Friend. It is on Hotel Diablo, right?
That's
yeah.
not Tickets.
I was like, yeah, it's there because I love Bear and I love their collaborations. So I think that is probably my favorite of the album.
Okay, now mainstream Sellout.
That literally changes every day because I always kind of rediscover songs. Mm-hmm. I think Born with Horns is probably my favorite at the moment. That and 9 Lives, because 9 Lives became this like anthem for the tour. So,
Cool. And then let's go to Bloom.
Oh my God. Kiss the Sky.
Okay, I like one of my favorites as well. And then lastly, let's wrap it up with, let's go General Admission.
Oh my God. Why are you doing this to me?
Because it's fun, and I like making my guests suffer as they try and think through their answers in their head.
It is so hard. I think Spotlight is on General Admission, right?
That's the opener.
So yeah, that's my all-time favorite. All right. It's my all-time favorite. That's a song that I would kill to see live. I wish I could have seen it live. But yeah, that's Spotlight 100%.
And there we have it. Nikki, MGK Israel, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
That's my pleasure.
Awesome. And thank you so much for watching or listening. Do me a favor, subscribe down below. Check out pinkfucks.com. We have our huge Black Friday sale going on right now. It ends on Tuesday, so be sure to cop some merch over there. It's the perfect Christmas present for any MGK fan, so what are you doing? And with that, we will see you in the next episode. Take care.